Search engine optimization is about editing the content of your website to appear higher in search results so you drive more traffic to your website. But just throwing strategies and tactics at the wall and hoping they work, that is not a recipe for success. What it will do is waste time and money. Hi, I'm Mike Phillips. In this video, we're going to be discussing how you measure the impact of your SEO actions on your site so that you know that you're putting your effort, your time, and your budget in the right places. Let's get started. Whether you're an employee at a company or a consultant working on your own, proving and substantiating the ROI of investing in SEO is important. Knowing which areas of your effort are working well and which ones are not will help guide your process. It'll give you the chance to reinvest in the areas that deserve it, to pull back budget and time from the areas that are not. Because SEO is always changing, this process will be ongoing. You need to integrate performance evaluation and measurement into your SEO process. This is something that you will be doing regularly and something that your employer or clients will thank you for. Let's run through 7 key areas that you should focus on as you measure and evaluate the performance of your SEO methods. Area 1 is search engine result position. SERP page listing is the bread and butter, the North Star metric for many SEO specialists. Knowing where your website stands for relevant queries is exceptionally important. This is something you will want to check often, and especially after you implement changes and give them time to index. Of course, being in position 1 is the ideal position as it collects the most search traffic. The most important thing for this ranking is to make sure you are aware whether or not you are falling on page 1. Listing on page 2 or deeper in the results will all but guarantee you will not collect traffic. Bear in mind that Google Search Console is a free tool for you to check your rankings and evaluate which queries you're ranking for. The second area I want you to track is impressions. Different from absolute rank, this is how many times your page is appearing in results in total. If you have a high SERP rank but a low impression volume, chances are you're ranking for a low volume keyword. You've done the right work but targeted the wrong question. This optimization may not be the most valuable for your website. I would recommend in this case evaluating higher volume words and attempting to rank for those in addition to your niche terms. One of the best ways to use this information is to go back to customer research. Make sure that you are using the queries that your customers are using in the language that they talk about your product or service. Area 3 to measure is search traffic. Google Analytics is one of the most popular tools to use to measure and assess how much traffic you are generating from organic SEO. The benefit is that this free tool contains advanced segmentation, so you can check how you're performing with certain audiences. If performing well with the wrong audience is as bad as performing poorly with the right audience. The proper thing here is to aim to match traffic volume from the right target cohort. Bear in mind, in the world we live in today, users must consent to your cookie policy to be tracked by Google Analytics. This may not be the panacea it once was, but it is important to at least be aware of changes in trend lines. You may not have the absolute insight you did 2, 3, 5 years ago, but you can always check for departures from the norm. If your trend lines are hooking up, this is a good thing. If they're tanking, that's something you want to evaluate. If you are struggling with your user cohort not consenting with traffic, you may want to look at click volume through Google Search Console instead. This data is more anonymized and does not require cookie consent. Again, trend lines may be more important here, but the absolute values of clicks you can use to benchmark against numbers for your industry and against competitors if you know them. The fourth way to measure success is with click-through rates. This is the percentage of people that clicked through to your content after seeing them in a search engine result page. Oftentimes these are driven by title tags and meta descriptions, but it's important to see how these things change over time. Algorithms are constantly being evolved, and ultimately if driving traffic is your goal, which it is, the click-through rate is an important metric to be able to understand whether your SEO is performing well and your content is getting seen and driving traffic. Metric 5 is bounce rate. Bounce rate measures the percentage of users that leave your page without interacting any further than arriving. This is determined by those who leave without clicking on any other links on your site. Your goal should be to have as low a bounce rate as possible. Begin by benchmarking against known industry averages, but also track against yourself over time. If you make changes to your content and bounce rate increases, you may want to revert back to version 1. If you make changes and your bounce rate goes down, you may want to investigate why and be able to take that change and look at testing it in more places across your other content. In general, bounce rate can hurt your overall performance because it's perceived by algorithms as a measure of poor match quality for the query that was asked. Think about it from your own experience. If a site that ranks well for a search you've performed does not provide the answer to the question you're looking for, chances are you're going to leave after just quickly skimming the page. The better you answer those questions, the less likely your visitors are to bounce. Metric 6 is a little bit different. It measures domain authority. Third-party tools like Moz use this to measure how authoritative your answers are relative to queries that are being asked. It measures your link authority and how that impacts your page's performance and how satisfied your searchers are. This is something you will want to track over time to measure the performance of your link building activities. Again, trend lines are the most important factor here. An upward trend line of authority indicates that your backlink building is working. Remember how I said that reputations can't be bought and that they are built over time? This is how you measure it. And be aware, if your authority remains level or decreases over time, you are not updating your content frequently and maintaining that reputation or those backlinks. The last area I want you to measure is technical site health. A technical health score is available to you if you're using third-party tools like SEMrush. The scoring is calculated based on how many technical SEO errors are present on the domain. Missing meta descriptions, duplicate tags, and broken links all contribute to lower your score. Staying on top of and correcting any errors on your site can increase your SEO ranking and overall performance. As we've gone through this list, we've talked about several ways that each of these metrics can work to improve your SEO ranking. I do want to make sure you understand the pitfalls of neglecting some or all of these important metrics. Not measuring SEO success is basically like lighting budget on fire. Whether you have an employer or a client, neither will appreciate that. You can invest a lot of labor, time, budget, and other expenses into building SEO actions, but if those actions are not making an impact, you are not delivering value, either to your company or your clients. It can be very tempting to follow the right script, the right prescribed set of actions from the trending article, but it's important for you to be able to justify your performance. Not only does it make the outcome of your SEO work perform better, but you can justify your value, which will increase your salary or your hourly rate as a consultant. Opportunities abound for those who know how to measure the performance of SEO and substantiate it in business terms. Connect all these metrics back to a critical business outcome. I recommend explaining traffic in terms of what that traffic will do to revenue. The most common thing marketers and specialists experience is that a CEO may not understand why SEO or some other technical aspect is important. If you can say, we made $100,000 in revenue with traffic of 1,000 visits a month, and I just brought our traffic up to 1,500 in the right buyer segment, you're gonna get a raise or you're gonna get rehired. That means you've increased 50% the traffic that is correlated to revenue. These are the sorts of matching between the raw metrics that we just discussed and the business outcomes that leadership will understand. Your homework for this lesson is to practice tracking all 7 metrics we discussed earlier. I want you to run through any content, site, or domain that you have access to and run down each of the 7 metrics. Check your SERP position, your impressions volume, and your organic search traffic. Check your click rate and your bounce rate, and measure your domain authority and technical site health. Checking all 7 of these metrics is very important to get a holistic view of how your SEO efforts are performing. Practicing how to measure these will make you a more desirable and more valuable search engine specialist because you will be able to substantiate and prove the ROI of the investments you're making. You've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for learning with me. By now you'll understand important ways to measure SEO performance, the context for business, and the pitfalls that you should avoid. Performing SEO work without checking the impact of that work is a recipe for failure. With what you've learned in this course, you're now well equipped to succeed. Thank you so much for learning with me. I'm Mike Phillips, and remember, SEO is a never-ending process, so your measurement of its success never should end either.